In this week's the news, essential workers show why they're essential. World-leading climate change work undone as country impacted by yet another side effect of climate change. A double standard in Parliament, what a shock, and space fascists beware. All that and more in this week's the news. Hello there, kia ora, welcome to this week's the news. I'm Paul, and tonight the role of Blanche Dubois will be played by a cartoon rabbit. 100,000 essential workers walked off the job on Thursday to strike for fairer working conditions and better pay after months of negotiations continued to stall between unions and the government. While some public rallies had to be cancelled due to safety concerns with extreme weather, at least 50,000 still marched across large parts of the country. After weeks of being vilified by the coalition for wanting to be given a higher priority than tobacco companies, the government responded to the action by saying the unions need to join us at the table. Well, they need to be at the table. We might show up, if we're not too busy hanging out with the most extreme hard-right elements of the US Republican Party. The Public Services Commissioner isn't on holiday, and we're not far too busy running Facebook ads vilifying them. The cleanup is continuing this weekend after a massive weather event hit the South Island and lower parts of the North Island on Thursday, causing widespread damage. Meteorologists have explained that the severe weather event was exacerbated by climate change, creating a far more violent outcome with more moisture being held in weather systems. Several states of emergency were declared as rivers swelled and trees were uprooted, leaving tens of thousands without power, including Nelson Hospital. Civil Defence Minister Mark Mitchell, seen here finding out he's not being made fun of in this news segment, has said the full resources of the organisation will be made available, while the Climate Change Minister Simon Watts, seen here showing you how to dance the Macarena, has said now's a great time to remind everyone to charge your devices and batteries, and forget that we just gutted our world-leading climate change policies and pulled back on our approach to climate change mitigation plans, so farmers don't feel bad about cow farts. Parliamentary Speaker Jerry Brownlee, seen here reacting to a hint of tikanga Māori showing up in Parliament, this week has decided to take advice on how to proceed after Te Pāti Māori burned a copy of the Marine and Coastal Area Act on the steps of Parliament inside a metal trash bin, in a stand of solidarity with other protesters opposed to the bill, seen by many as being as contentious as the original foreshore and seabed bill in the early 2000s. Said Brownlee, "It is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. It's highly arrogant and unacceptably irresponsible. If you wanted to make a point, then you should have driven a Land Rover up the stairs with crowds around after being told explicitly not to by security, which you then ignore." The Labour Party this week unveiled its first raft of election policies to take into 2026. These included a new approach to funding GPs using an independent pricing authority instead of direct government funding, higher subsidies for New Zealand's growing gaming industry, and the creation of a future wealth fund, which would make it almost impossible for future governments to sell off state-owned assets. Said Labour leader Chris Hipkins, seen here as someone brings out another sausage roll for him, Labour is backing a future made in New Zealand, while the Prime Minister responded with, "Look, if Kiwis want a future where everyone is looked after and the economy is more productive, then they should just find ways to knock thousands off their Waiheke Island holiday home rates bill instead of planning for a future that might not come, because we've sold all of the assets before they get a chance to stop us." Former Te Pāti Pākehā President Tim Jago, seen here complaining about people wanting to be victims, is facing even more indecent assault charges while still serving time for sexual abuse convictions on minors. The new charges relate to an incident in 1995. Jago was the beneficiary of a long-standing name suppression order in the lead-up to the 2023 general election because the judge felt naming him would impact ACT's chances in the election. Said Te Pāti Pākehā leader David Seymour, seen here agreeing with the former party president as he talks about how people want to be victims. "No idea who that is, but here's a number for my lawyer, and why not follow me on Snapchat? It's where all the cool teenagers are." New non-financial sanctions were rolled out this week by the Minister of Social Development, Louise Upston, seen here with the only kind of beneficiary she doesn't punch down on, in what she's describing as an alternative to harsher options. Under the new sanctions, some beneficiaries will be required to attend one or more employment-related training courses or show evidence of at least 3 job applications every week. Said Upston, "We want to see people take the steps they're obligated to prepare for work. And the fact that there's 10 times more people unemployed than there are actual jobs available, that's not relevant at all." Aotearoa New Zealand seems to be on the brink of another measles outbreak as a new case has popped up all over the country, including Northland, Manawatu, Nelson and Auckland, and include busy locations of interest including an inter-island ferry, a Nelson cafe, a supermarket, an overcrowded hospital emergency wait room and a public toilet. The Ministry of Health has been encouraging people to check both locations of interest and vaccination status, with only 80% of New Zealanders currently immunised against the virus, well below the 95% needed to ensure that there's no widespread outbreak. Said a ministry spokesperson, vaccinations are free for those under 18 or those entitled to funded healthcare, and we'd encourage people in areas like Selwyn and Taranaki to get checked, after the local election results showed the influence of anti-vaccine groups clearly within their communities before the entire local infrastructure falls to pieces around them. And finally, this weekend sees the return of Auckland's Armageddon Expo. The Labour Weekend celebration of pop culture is this year celebrating its 30th anniversary at the Auckland Showgrounds Event Centre. Headline guests this year include actors from a film series about destroying the source of power for an industrialised fascist overlord, a time traveller who corrects injustices and stops fascist aliens, defectors who escape space fascists and end up fighting them, and the voice behind a character that's become a subversive meme against the Chinese president. When asked if there was a hidden message in the guest list, one expert in pop culture semiotics said, "Maybe sometimes people need reminding that fascism is bad, because it's surprising how many people are flirting with it these days, enjoying this stuff and don't see how they're on the side of the space fascists and mutant alien Nazi war machines." And that's it for this week's news. Don't forget, you can nominate Paul the Other One for a Listener's Choice Award at the New Zealand Podcast Awards. Links are in the description below. Thanks again for all the support this week. Live long, prosper, be one with the Force, and we will catch you all next time. Hey, thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. While you're here, why not hit that like button or share the video or even subscribe to the channel. You could even become a paid YouTube member so you can see things released in advance, you get access to some exclusive content, and like all these awesome people, you get to have your name at the end of the credits as well.